Sometimes, love doesn't disappear. It just gets buried under years of silence. In a quiet Japanese village surrounded by mountains and mist, there lived a woman named Rei Kamiki. She ran a small homestay with her husband, welcoming travelers who came to see the beauty of the countryside. From the outside, her life looked peaceful. A loving husband, a beautiful home, and a simple routine. But inside, Rei felt something missing. The warmth she once shared with her husband had faded over time. He rarely spoke more than a few words to her. Nights passed in silence, days in routine. The distance between them grew, not because of anger, but because of indifference. And so, alayhi salam, I tell you this story, my story. Remember this one thing. My name is Rei Kamiki, and this is my love story. It all began on a cold morning when a man named Joni arrived at the homestay. He was polite, gentle, and looked exhausted after a long trip. Rei offered him tea and a warm smile. "You can stay for 2 nights," she said softly. But fate had other plans. A sudden snowstorm hit the village, forcing Joni to extend his stay to a full week. At first, Rei treated him like any other guest. But, alayhi salam, days passed. Something changed. They started talking during breakfast, sharing stories about the city, dreams, and life's small frustrations. Joni often helped Rei tidy the dining room or bring firewood. His kindness felt natural, something she hadn't felt in a long time. Every small gesture from Joni began to touch the empty corners of her heart. The way he listened, the way he smiled, the way he said, "You deserve to rest sometimes, Rei-san." One evening, alayhi salam, snow fell outside. They sat together by the fireplace. The light flickered gently across their faces. Rei felt something stir inside her, a feeling she had long forgotten. But she quickly brushed it off, convincing herself that it was just gratitude. But deep inside, she knew it wasn't. And alayhi salam, the storm outside grew stronger. So did the storm in her heart. The snowstorm finally ended, but something else had begun. Rei and Joni grew closer, not through words, but through quiet glances, accidental touches, and long silences that said more than they should. Her husband, Daichi, began to notice. "Hey, sallallahu alayhi wasallam," how Rei smiled differently, how she seemed distracted at dinner, and how her voice trembled when she spoke about the guest. One night, Daichi asked, "Is everything okay? You seem different lately." Rei froze, her heart pounded. She smiled weakly. "I'm fine," she whispered, even though she wasn't. Every night after that, Daichi's suspicion grew. He started coming home earlier than usual, asking questions about Joni's stay. Rei tried to act normal, but guilt wrapped around her like cold air. She told herself again and again, nothing happened, nothing will happen. But deep down, she wasn't sure if she believed that anymore. Joni too noticed the tension. One afternoon, alayhi salam, they cleaned the guest room together. He looked at her and said, "Rei, I know this isn't right, but I can't pretend I don't feel something for you." Her breath caught. The sound of the wind outside filled the silence. Please, don't, Rei said softly. If we go any further, there's no turning back. But her words trembled, her voice heavy with unspoken longing. And then, just alayhi salam Joni was about to speak, they heard the sound of footsteps. Daiichi had come home early. Panic surged through Rei's chest. Joni quickly stepped back, pretending to arrange the futon. Daiichi opened the door, his eyes scanning the room, the air tense, heavy with suspicion. He said nothing, but his stare lingered long enough to make Rei's heart break. That night, Rei lay in bed beside her husband, her eyes open, her heart aching. She wanted to confess everything, yet fear kept her silent. She didn't know if what she felt for Joni was love or just the illusion of warmth in a cold marriage. The next morning, when Rei went to the guest room, Joni was gone. He had checked out early, leaving only a note on the table. "Thank you, Rei-san. Some feelings are too pure to be destroyed by reality. I hope you find your happiness." Rei read the note over and over, her tears falling onto the paper. She didn't know what hurt more, his absence or the truth behind his words. Outside, the snow had melted, but inside Rei's heart, winter still lingered. She stood by the window, holding the note close to her chest, and whispered, "Goodbye, Joni." And in that quiet homestay, with the mountain winds whispering outside, Rei realized that sometimes love isn't about being together. It's about knowing when to let go. And that, my friends, was the story of Rei Kamiki, a woman torn between loyalty and longing, a heart that found warmth in the coldest winter. Sometimes love arrives quietly and leaves just Elisa silently. If you enjoyed this emotional story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the next heart-touching story. See you in the next episode, and remember, love doesn't always need a happy ending to be beautiful.